Hey, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday night here on Northwoods TCG. Welcome on in, everybody. As you can see, I just turned on the subscriber only mode. Number one reason is because I want subscribers to have precedences on the chat. So if you do want, just hit the subscribe button. Quick and easy. Get in 5 minutes after you do that. You'll be able to say anything you want onto the chat, just so everybody knows where we're at on that. But number one thing is I want to talk about today is going to be, of course, investing in Pokemon Now. Should you be investing in the Pokemon Now? A lot of people have been asking this question, and I do want to sit there and have my little input on that. And the biggest thing that I would say is yes, there are still some really good opportunities in the Pokemon Now. As you guys probably have noticed, I don't usually talk much about current sets, modern sets right now, or sets that I'm currently actively selling in my store. Number one reason is because I feel that can be kind of a conflict of interest when it comes down to the actual sets and the products themselves, and it makes it look like I'm shilling my product, which I don't want to do, especially now that we're ripping and shipping on this channel and have an active store. It's not something that I personally want to do. So when I talk about investment and when I'm talking about things a whole long term, I am usually going to be talking about things that I am not actively selling or am currently running out of that particular product, so that you guys are not buying products or potentially buying products that I'm telling you to invest in, because of course buying from me may not be your best and most opportune or the best opportunities to purchase anyways, but I just don't want to get that vibe on this channel. So I'm not going to be talking about Black and White. I'm not going to be talking about any of the current sets like Destin's Rivals or Journey Together. Are there investment opportunities in them? Yes. Booster boxes are doing well. I can talk about booster boxes. I'm not selling booster boxes of Destin's Rivals or Journey Together. I don't have any available. So are they good investments? I think these later sets in Scarlet and Violet are in the potential for reprints just because of all the things that are currently going on right now. The current markets are favorable to a reprint of these particular sets. The pricing is the highest out of all the sets we've had so far, and could we see reprints of these particular sets? Yes, I think there's an opportunity to have that happen. Does that mean that you don't necessarily want to go buy these particular sets at this point in time? No, I think that there's some good opportunities in them for the booster boxes, Destin's Rivals, and Journey Together, because overall, I think that if you were to buy some now and kind of hold them in case they don't get a reprint, at least you've got your positioning kind of set. But for me, favorably, I would buy a small position at this point in time just so you don't miss out on the opportunity. But on the other hand, if reprints do occur, then you can buy into it a little bit and buy down, cost dollar average that out, and continue to kind of push that value downwards as the markets fall. So I think that the market trends are favorable to potentially have some good investments in both of these sets, but I also think that the markets are favorable for reprints. How big those reprints are going to be, God only knows. The way that this has been going currently, it may be really, really small. We might see very, very small reprints of these products, and if that's the case, it's a good time to invest into these things, and it's a really good time to invest into what's going on currently. I'd be looking at the investment side a lot heavier right now at this point in time. So early sets in the Scarlet and Violet, the first 5 sets, definitely all of those I think are really, really good contenders for investment right now, whether you like Paldea Evolved, Obsidian Flame, Scarlet and Violet base set, Paradox Rift, or Temporal Forces, all of which I think are going to probably not have reprints at this point in time. We have no evidence that anything's coming. Even that Paldea Evolved reprint, when it comes down to booster boxes, has just been non-existent. So overall, I think that Scarlet and Violet has shown time and time again that the booster box reprint is just a thing of the past. And if we do get reprints, they tend to be on ETBs, they tend to be on 3-pack blisters, they tend to be on products that are what I would call tertiary products that are sold at your big box store, something that goes directly to the individuals in the hobby. Good investments right now, good opportunities right now in this market to go and buy those Pokemon investments. And once again, just be prepared that if it does happen and we do get a major, massive reprint, which I don't think that's going to happen, especially on the first 5 sets of the Scarlet and Violet block at this point in time. If it hasn't happened yet, I don't think it's going to happen here in the near future, so I think that we're pretty secure. Twilight Masquerade, Surging Sparks, Stellar Crown, all of those ones coming forward are still in the range of where I'd be watching it. There's always an opportunity that may happen. If you want to take your risk on those investments, great chance to potentially see reprints. I think that it's primed up to do so. And whether or not it's going to come to tuition is really going to be up in the air. Do I think that it will? My personal feelings is that I don't think it's going to happen. I think that we're going to continue to see exactly what we're seeing at this point in time, which is just really little small, non-existent reprints that really affect the market to very little to no effect whatsoever, or very short-term ripple effects when it comes down to it. We would have to see a massive amount of product at this point in time to really see any big changes in those price values. We've talked about that before when it comes down to your investments. Even Surging Sparks got a reprint, we got booster boxes back, and none of that really turned into any kind of market change at all. We're right back where we were before the reprint. The reprint was really in the market and noticeable in that market for approximately a week. And then it went right back to where it was, and it really didn't affect it very much. And I think that that's going to be something that's going to potentially occur. Booster box, to me, really good opportunities for investments right now. I think that that's where your investment market's going to be. Yeah, it's going to give you your best growth, I think, overall. Granted, we are seeing some really good gains in some of the Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes. Destin's Rivals Elite Trainer Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes, almost the exact same price as the booster box at this point in time. Another good thing to take note on is that Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes are performing extremely well. But once again, very limited in the market, very hard to get sometimes at Pokemon Center, and waiting in line for those products can be daunting sometimes. Even today, if people weren't aware, Pokemon Center went live, the queue was opened up, and they were for the 2022 spring or summer tins that came out, or summer chests that came out. They had another release of those on PokemonCenter.com. I did manage to get 2 of them, but that's something that did show up again on Pokemon Center. The queue was about 45 minutes to get into it, so if you had a device or had the availability to wait and see if you could get into that, that's what came through. Some people did miss it. I know some people waited in queue and got in, and then there was nothing. So that is some situation that we saw on that as well. But it does show that Pokemon has still got some of this older product out there, and when those collector tins come in, I'm going to be really curious to see if they have the Evolving Skies into those, because a lot of those did have 2 or 3 packs of Evolving Skies in them. Whether or not they actually have that, or did they just use up the tins and repack them with Scarlet and Violet, is going to be my interest when it comes down to those particular products. But there again, another opportunity out there right now in this market to potentially grab something that is beneficial for you and your investment. Before we go any further, guys, make sure you guys hit that like button. I see there's about 11 people watching the live. Be sure you guys hit that like button if you could. It helps out the stream and get things rocking and rolling here tonight, and is greatly appreciated if you would do that. But carrying on down the investment sides, Sword and Shield products right now. Sword and Shield products are a great avenue right now that's coming out there. There's still some Sword and Shield products showing up on the shelves. We're seeing knockout boxes. I just got some Pokeballs that came through that I saw that a friend of mine got, that actually were from Walmart, that actually had Sword and Shield products in them. They were back to like D22 and A22 tins. So those are all Sword and Shield products. We're still seeing some of these Sword and Shield products rolling through. Great chances on your store shelf to be able to get those particular products if you can find them. Another good investment point is in Sword and Shield products at this point in time, far enough out that you can't get them from distribution, far enough out where there's some really good opportunity for growth, and they're continuing to grow. And anytime that you can get these products at MSRP is a very good opportunity for some growth here right now. You can go buy a Pokeball right now and break out the packs, and if there's 3 packs of Sword and Shield inside of them, you're already net positive on those just by breaking them out. And with Pokeballs, if you do get Pokeballs especially, get the packs out of there as soon as you can. That's just my personal preference with Pokeballs. I don't like storing a Pokeball. They're just, you look at them, they're big, they're bulky, and they're nothing but air. And then on top of it, if you're potentially going to open those packs futuristically for yourself, or if you're going to sell them, you're going to get damaged by them sitting on that round surface. That spherical surface is very damaging to the packs inside of it, and it's also very damaging to the cards inside of those packs. So if you do have Pokeballs, I would highly suggest breaking them down and getting the packs out of them as soon as you can. Overall, the value is better with those, and it gives you the pack value in them does hold versus the price of the Pokeball anyways. And a lot of times you can sell those packs a little bit better also. So my suggestion is break down Pokeballs as soon as possible. Knockout boxes, things like that, you can definitely hold on because they are on a flat surface. There's not as much damage. Once again, you're dealing with airspace. And knockout boxes, another thing I know some people have asked, should you rip those, should you not, in lives previously. I'm going to say it again here on this live that I would break them down, because knockout boxes tend to change depending on when they were printed. You could go to the original knockout boxes that you could get at Family Dollar, and they had Ancient Origins at one point in them. They had Cosmic Eclipse in them at one point, and they had Darkness Ablaze in them at one point. So it just depends on what generation you get and what the reprint is. There are ways to tell if it has Cosmic Eclipse in it or Ancient Origins. You can shake the box, and if the coin is loose, then you do know that you're going to have Ancient Origins or Cosmic Eclipse. And if the coin doesn't move, then it's a modern one. You probably got Darkness Ablaze in those ones, and that actually holds true with some of the other ones as well. As time goes on, they change what goes inside those knockout boxes, and that really does affect the overall amount or the value of those particular products, is not knowing what's inside of them. Sometimes, even though it might have Ancient Origins, they'll still run at the price of 2 Darkness Ablaze packs inside of there, just because people are concerned that they're not getting what they think inside of those particular products. So once again, you can find knockout boxes right now. They are flowing through Family Dollar right now. We're seeing knockout boxes come through, good pack selections in those and the current ones as well. So definitely check them out for your investment side of things to be able to get some pack investments. Sealed investments, once again, looking at Crown Zenith. Crown Zenith I'm going to put on here as a good investment currently at this point in time. ETBs doing really, really well and continuing to move up at a very steady pace. I like steady growth. I like steady gains on them. Granted, now anything that we're talking about in a Sword and Shield block is definitely showing some costs. So that's the other thing is on these investments, that if you wait at this point, if you're new to investing and you're looking at these particular products, just keep in consideration that we are seeing costs continue to go up. So I'm going to look up real quick just to give you today's price, as I try to do on these. Crown Zenith Elite Trainer Box right now at this point in time is going to set you back about $184 right now at this point in time. But if you continue to watch at the last 6-month history on this product, in the last 6 months from February, we were about 108, and currently we're at 188. So we've seen about an $80 value increase in Crown Zenith in the last 6 months. Same thing, same story if you go over the year. About a year ago at this time, they were about $50. That's when we were actually talking about good timing to pick these up as they were going further and further in the Scarlet and Violet, that this set was going to probably start moving in that upward direction. That Trainer Gallery, a lot of fun, or Galarian Gallery inside of there, a lot of fun. There's some really good hits in the gold cards and the Mewtwo. And of course, that Leafeon and Glaceon V-Stars in there are doing extremely well in the set. And the grade ability of that set's actually doing really well too. Graded cards in that set are doing very good in a TSA 10, so there's also that value of potentially seeing good value in the PSA 10 market or the graded market as well. Overall, last year we've gone from about $50 all the way up to $180. So over a year, you're almost gone 3x on this particular product, or 3.5x, getting close to 4xing that product. Once again, great investment opportunity. And I don't see this set slowing down. I think we're going to continue to see these gains, that if we come back to this in 6 months, I'm going to guess we're going to be around $240 for this ETB, and it's just going to continue to move up and continue to do well here in the near future. Let's take a look real quick at Lost Origin. That was another booster box. Or sorry, not Lost Origin, Brilliant Stars. Sorry, Brilliant Stars. I was on the wrong train of thought. Brilliant. Lost Origins is way up there right now. If you're looking at potential secondary sets that you should be looking at, Silver Tempest is really taking a jump right now. Brilliant Stars is starting to move as well. So we're starting to see some overall value in these starting to move and come up in value. We saw a little bit of a peak where it was up about $430, and now we've seen it come back down again, down to about $400, and now it's moving back up to that $425. Do I think it's going to continue to move up? We've been seeing consistent growth on all these booster boxes over the last year. So if we go back 1 year, Brilliant Stars booster box is about $182, and now today you're about $425. Overall, once again, you're 3.5xing this particular Sword and Shield product. Do I think that that's going to continue as an investment opportunity into 2025 and going into 2026? Yes, holiday seasons always really do help these products, especially older products. People are still chasing a lot of these alternate arts, the Charizard V, the RCSB, all these sets have really good galleries in them too, trainer galleries. This one has the Umbreon and Sylveon trainer gallery in it. Lost Origins, we can take a look at Lost Origins, but the last time I checked, Lost Origins was way up there in price. And once again, it depends on your budget. What are you looking at doing when it comes down to these parts? So if we go, wow, I can't spell the name apparently. So if we go Lost Origin and we pull up a booster box right now at this point in time, $607. Do I think $607 is a bad price for a Lost Origins booster box? It's expensive. No, not horrible, but definitely very expensive. It's going to be a high buy-in point compared to something maybe like a Silver Tempest or a Brilliant Stars booster box. And once again, it's getting about the same type of gain. We're looking at about $215 a year ago, and now we're up to about $600. So once again, about that 3.5x gain on these particular products. Overall, still not, you're staying about consistent. So once again, if you're looking at just percentage gains, you're doing just as good with some of the smaller priced items in Sword and Shield as you would do with the big products in Sword and Shield. Only outlier realistically is Evolving Skies, but even in the last year, that's only about 2 to 2.5x as well. So if you would have bought Lost Origins, percentage wise, you would have actually made more money in Brilliant Stars and Lost Origins than you would in Evolving Skies, even though Evolving Skies by number is bigger. It's just not as much of a percentage gain, because the higher that gets in price, the more that we're probably going to see that kind of slow down. If Evolving Skies continues to move up, so I'm going to look up Evolving Skies today, because we were at about $2,200 last week. Of course, it's kind of our baseline in Sword and Shield to see how well Sword and Shield is currently performing. So if I go to a booster box right now, we're still about $2,200. We haven't really seen any real big market changes on that in the last week. So we're consistently staying kind of where we were at this point in time. So once again, you know, you go back a year ago, well, actually it was about $600. So once again, we're about 3.5x. So overall, everything in Sword and Shield right now that I've been pulling up has been doing about 3.5x, 3 to 3.5% times gain. So that's 300% gain on these products. That's fantastic growth. I mean, there isn't a single investment right now out there that you're going to get that's going to be comparable to these particular products right now. I mean, there just isn't anything out there that's Bitcoin. Maybe there's some Bitcoins out there that would 3, 4, 5x your stuff. But in general, there aren't very many investments in your standard capital markets that are going to give you this opportunity. Do I think that Evolving Skies is a good investment? Yes. Even now, I still think that it's got some really good growth opportunities and potentials. But there again, you know, it's all in the what you want to put. How much money do you want to put into something, into one thing? Personally, me, I like spreading it. So if I was going to go, if I was given a choice between one Evolving Skies booster box is at $2,000, $2,200, or if you asked me if I wanted to do something else like Brilliant Stars, Silver Tempest, and Lost Origins, I'd probably scattershot it and do those three, maybe multiples of those three for $2,200, then continue to jump onto Evolving Skies, just because scattershotting it, in my opinion, gives you a more rounded portfolio. And if Evolving Skies stops because the price is getting too high, then the other three still have plenty of room to try and catch up or move towards that direction. And more likely they're going to move because a lower price point is more attractive to more people than a high price point such as Evolving Skies. Evolving Skies is going to get to a point where it becomes more of that luxury item. Hey, look at my prestige of having an Evolving Skies booster box, rather than potential investments of it. So that's kind of sometimes slows down that drive, is not as many people are into the prestige. Some people do want it, but it isn't that great. You know, it isn't one of those things that everybody's going to want to buy at that point in time. Let me look up Silver Tempest, just because we're on the train of thought right now. Let's do a Silver Tempest booster box currently on this date, on August 12th right now. So we're sitting at about $400 for this as well. And if we look at the 1 year history of this as well, you're at about $160 and you're up to $400 again. You're about 3x on this one as well. So overall, still continuing to see about the consistent growth through right across the Sword and Shield block. So do I think that that will continue? More than likely at this point in time, we're going to probably see more consistent, overall consistent growth in the Sword and Shield block. And that's a good thing. That just means that you have some securities when it comes down to your investments, knowing that they're going to do rather well over the next couple years, the next couple months, or over the next 5 years. If they continue to perform like this, that's great. Do I think that it's necessarily going to always perform like that over the next few years? Not necessarily. You might see some years where we see very little gain, and then, or certain quarters where we'll see no gain, and then you'll see a really big jump, especially going into the Christmas season here. That's a really good opportunity on investments to do well and overall have value in those. And the later part about it is in my title here, Invest in Pokemon. Now I'm going to talk about investing in the sealed product at this point in time. A lot of it is all of it is product that I don't currently have. So I'm just going to repeat that on here. And this is how I'm going to handle investment chat on here. I'm an investment channel. I've talked about investment since the day I started. I still want to talk about investment, and I've kind of backed off of it because of the fact that I sell products. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about products that I do not sell currently on my website. So I'm not going to be trying to shill products that I'm currently selling and telling you these are good buys, because it makes it look like I'm trying to sell you stuff. If you do want to go to my website and check it out, these are all products that I do not currently have. So, and they're not listed right now. Talking about Destin's Rivals, all the current booster boxes right now, the only booster box that I might be listing is going to be Surging Sparks. I have some Surging Sparks that I am going to be listing, but that's why I'm not even talking about Surging Sparks booster boxes, is because of that fact. So I'm trying to keep a separation between the two so that they're running parallel, but I'm not making it look like I'm trying to sell stuff off of my website to you guys. I just don't feel that that's fair, and it's good. It's good practice to keep that separation and not make that happen. So, second thing you noticed in today's live is that I do have the Northwoods TCG subscriber only mode turned on. So if you do want to talk in the chat, you're going to have to hit the subscribe button, join the community, and then wait 5 minutes, and then you'll be able to discuss in the chat. Just so anybody that's in here tonight knows that. I wanted to be out there and open to everybody so that you guys know exactly what I'm doing here, is that I want to give subscribers precedence in the chat so that you guys get the information and the discussions that you're looking for here in the chats. And I just want you guys to get that precedent. Sometimes I was noticing that some people in the chats were coming in and they were having and taking up, time that I could be spending with other people. I'm rushing through other stuff and they're not even subscribers. So I just want to try and break that down and make it so that you guys get precedence as a subscriber to the channel. Last thing, selling Pokemon cards right now. I honestly, the market's great. Don't get me wrong. If you want to sell Pokemon cards at this point in time and sell some of your inventory, absolutely acceptable right now. The markets will hold it. The markets will do well, and you'll have very, very good luck. Personally, at this point in time, where we are in the year, I would be selling Pokemon cards next month, or the end of next month, in October and November. Why? Black Friday, people get money, and people get into the Christmas rush where they're buying things for their significant others or for themselves. And that is why I'm telling people to kind of hold on your sales right now. Card sales, sealed product sales, all that stuff will start to increase as we go into the end of the year. Pokemon's going to make announcements too to find out what we're going to be getting for reprints, or what we'll be getting for the fall rush here as we're getting into the holiday season, which is going to get people's mindsets in the buying. And we always see an increase in sales or people's paying for pricing or paying for items as we get in closer to that November timeframe. So once again, if you're looking at selling, you can. There's opportunities right now to sell. If you purchased, 6 months ago, of course, there's great numbers right now. But if you don't need the money today and you're really not in a rush to capitalize on money today, then wait about another month and a half here, and then the numbers will go up even better at that point in time. So just my little piece of advice right now from experience in these markets right now, we're in our normal reciprocating market. Even though the prices have gone up and the lack of product is here, the market is still reciprocating just like it always does, from fall to spring to summer into fall again and winter. There's a market cycle that we just continually run into. It happens year over year over year. And even with the lack of product, people going into the holiday seasons tend to have a little bit more open of a pocketbook, which means more value, more potential for capitalizing on your investments as you're going into this fall season. So just keep that in mind as we're getting further and further into the season here, that maybe slow playing a little bit of your sales at this point in time, this late in the year, will be beneficial to you when it gets down to October and November, and when holiday sales really do start picking up. So right now, Sword and Shield, really, really good investments. There's still some product showing up on the shelves. Great opportunity. I am looking at a Hamburger Ron here. He said, I found 151 tins at Family Dollar yesterday. They also had knockout boxes with Paldea Evolved and Surging Sparks. They all were $10 each. No sales tax in Montana. So pretty confident in my purchase. That's great purchases. Let's be 100% honest. 151, always a great purchase at this point in time. I'm going to be very, very open on that because I do have Zapdos CX boxes and mini tins on my shop. But ETBs, those kind of products, any 151 product is really a decent pickup, especially at MSRP. You're not going to beat that particular deal at this point in time. And any kind of price at MSRP is going to give you a lot of leniency and openness to that particular product. Even Paldea Evolve and Surging Sparks inside of those knockout boxes. And those were the two. I was trying to remember what was in the knockout boxes now. And that's what it is. Paldea Evolved and Surging Sparks are in the current knockout boxes that you can get at your Family Dollar. They were Obsidian Flames and Paradox Rift, but now they're Paldea Evolved and Surging Spark. So those have shifted, and both of those are really good packs. Overall, good packs in general to have, and I think that they're going to do well futuristically. So definitely good products to try and grab right now that they're in the current market. With that being said, we're about 25 minutes in, so we're going to kick over to our Q&A as we always do. Once again, if you do want to put in something as a question into the chat, make sure that you do so. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, wait 5 minutes, and you'll be able to put in any comment that you want into the chat at that point in time. Adaro says, hey friends, how are you doing this evening? Aaron Scott is always greatly appreciated to be here. Stock up on ammo, folks. LOL. Yeah, it seems like that right now. Anytime we talk about anything with money in the Pokemon TCG, very, very hostile territory. You know, no matter how you do a video right now, when you're talking about your business and Pokemon, if you say that you're not selling something at MSRP, someone just says that you don't care about Pokemon. And it's like, yeah, you gotta think about business numbers now. So if you guys have not watched the video today, please do so. Hit that like button. We're also doing a giveaway. So if you are watching this, we're doing a giveaway for all the comments. So any video that was released from Friday's live to Thursday, so basically anything I do in between there, every video you comment on is going to get you into a giveaway for a pack of Crimson Invasion. So we're gonna have some fun. Everybody who comments, not the chats, but if you come back and we end the live, come back and put a comment in it. We got Crimson Invasion, Sun and Moon Crimson Invasion. We're doing a giveaway on Friday for that. So any comments from last Friday's live to Thursday at midnight will go into that. So that way you guys know, if you guys do want to have some fun, join in, have an opportunity at a free pack. I'm looking to try and build a channel. A great way to do that is for you guys to hit that like button, be subscribed to the channel, and put in comments. So I'm trying to incentivize that, and for you helping me out, I am going to help give you guys an opportunity for something as well as a giveaway. Market Scalper, how you do? Or Market Scraper, sorry. How's it going? Let's get it right, because someone will get upset if I say the other word. So we already talked about Hamburger Ron. Once again, great pickups overall, and with no taxes, even better when you can get that opportunity. Wish we had that here. It's 5.5% tax. I know we're not too bad, but some other people are. Some people are definitely have high tax rates. Again, my video today was based on Wisconsin's tax rates. I know some people say that, you know, like California is like 12% for some places, some counties and stuff in California, which is absolutely insane in my opinion, but it is what it is. Damn, shots fired. That escalated quickly. Yes, that went bad quick. Get in your foxhole quickly. Aaron Scott, Evolving Skies isn't even a good set in my opinion. It's overpriced and overhyped. I disagree. I've always liked Evolving Skies. You know, Pokemon Knowledge Cards and myself argued about that back in 2021 and the 2022, that ships ablazing that Brilliant Stars was going to outperform Evolving Skies, and I've said from the beginning Evolving Skies is the better set. I put more money down in Evolving Skies at the time than I did in Brilliant Stars. Personally, Evolving Skies is a goated set because of the fact that it has Rayquaza in it. You have got all the evolutions, and evolutions are hot, and they're only getting hotter as time goes on. And you also have a lot of different alternate arts in that set. Overall, a very fun set, and the only thing that really is bad about that set is the hit rates are extremely high, especially if you're specifically going for the Umbreon. If you're going for the Umbreon, the hit rates suck. If you go for a lot, if you're just open to any of the alternate arts, the hit rates are still not great on it, but it's a lot better than just shooting for that specifically on that Moonbreon. I think the Moonbreon is like a 1 in 1200 or 1300 pack ratio. I think a standard alternate art or a VMAX alternate art is running about 1 in 600 or 500 packs at that point in time. So you definitely have a little bit better on that. But I've always liked Evolving Skies. I think that overall it's a better set. I think that overall it is a very goated set just because of the fact that it has a lot of good alternate arts, VMAX and V. I think Brilliant Stars has been at a disadvantage from the beginning because there are no VMAX alternate arts in there, so the rarity of the V is a lot easier to pull than the VMAX, and that's where I think you're having a little bit of that discrepancy. They got rid of the VMAX alternate arts in the last 4 sets. of the Sword and Shield block and make trainer galleries instead. So they compromise by removing one rarity and basically giving you trainer galleries instead. Trainer galleries aren't performing as well as a VMAX alternate art at this point in time. Who knows? 10, 15 years down the road, that might change, but personally, I'm all for Evolving Skies. I still think Evolving Skies, in my opinion, is probably one of the best sets from Sword and Shield. The only set that I honestly and personally like more than Evolving Skies at this point in time is Cosmic Eclipse, and Cosmic Eclipse, another very goated set when it comes down to alternate art. You got alternate arts, trainer gallery, you got everything in that set, and that's why I do like a Cosmic Eclipse. But in Sword and Shield, it's definitely my favorite set in Sword and Shield. I think overall it's probably the strongest set in Sword and Shield. So, and it's showing it. It really is showing it. Not that it wouldn't be holding up this long if there wasn't something behind that statement. Hi, this is in here. Thank you so much for joining. I'm at a point in my collecting journey where dollar amounts are uncomfortable. I'm starting to sell, and I'm finding out that having higher value items is more liquid than lower value items. That's kind of interesting because from my personal experience on selling, it's right in the middle. Really low end items don't sell very well. They seem to hang around for a long period of time. But on the flip side of it, my really high priced items seem to be very, very slow as well. The only thing that happens with high priced items is that I get fewer views. But when somebody wants it, they just buy it. It's like whoever comes in and they want it, they just buy. They pull a trigger and it's done. Unlike, kind of that low end stuff, you get 10,000 views on something and it just sits forever. Like nobody really wants to pull the trigger on it, but it's like a bunch of little fish popping it, but they don't. And then you get an offer every once in a while on it. You get these small little, it's like a bait fiend out there. Nobody really wants to bite it, but they just keep bopping on it. And then it seems like if you're on the high end stuff, it's just snapped right away. You don't get many views, but you definitely get the hits really, really quickly. So I can see that why it would seem more liquid. But overall, I do sell more in that medium range. So if I'm going to sell, let's just say a Lost Origins box, and I'm going to sell a loose pack, everything right in between around that $100 to $250 range sells really, really quick. Everything higher than that slows down, and everything lower than that kind of slows down. So there's kind of a sweet spot right around that $200 range that seems like everybody, it's once again, once you get too high, it becomes no longer an impulse buy. And like I said, if it gets low, it's like people are like, I'll just wait and see if it goes lower, and they kind of just sit around it forever. So right in that middle range seems to be the best for me personally right now on my sites. But everybody could be having a different experience depending on what the products are too. That can really make a difference on it. That if it's a high-end product, more expensive, but rarity is high on it, then it could disappear really fast because there's a lot of people looking for those rare items. Hamburger Ron says, I actually like Vivid Voltage at its current price. Market conditions make it a buy because the whole lower floor will rise above the cheaper SV booster boxes, right? Might price correct soon at $300. I can see that slowly moving up. Let's pull up in Vivid Voltage right now at this point in time. Where are we at on Vivid Voltage? Because I got a couple booster boxes of it, but I really never went too deep in the Vivid Voltage just because there just isn't much to offer inside of the set. That's the only catch-22 is that even the cheapest Scarlet and Violet set right now, so let's just, you look at what's available and even Scarlet and Violet base set or the cheapest Scarlet and Violet set at this point in time, it has a lot more in it. I mean, you got illustrators, you got SIRs, you've got gold cards, you've got all this stuff going inside of an SV set, and Vivid Voltage really has a Rainbow Pikachu. That's all that's in that set, and there's one Nessa, I think, is the only trainer inside of here that's even got any value to it. So right now, as of today, a Vivid Voltage booster box will set you back about $230. If you look at the 1 year gains though, we've said back at the end of last year that it was a buy at $135, and currently it's gone up about $100. So once again, doing well and continues to move up, and it's doing fairly well on a consistent growth line. So all Sword and Shield stuff right now is on a very consistent growth path right now, which is really good to see. And it means that our investments from back in Sword and Shield are continuing to drive our portfolio and do extremely well here as we keep moving on. How's it going, Gengar? Glad to see you in here as well. Thank you so much. Blitzkrieg, thank you so much for joining as well. I'm just looking at Arc Strike. How you doing this evening? Thank you so much for joining us here on our Talking Live as we're kicking her off. Do I see Vivid Voltage correcting the $300? I don't know if it's going to. It will get the $300 at its current trend. If we look at our growth rate at this point in time for the last 6 months, so let's go back to the last 6 months. 180 to 220. So you're looking at about a $60 price increase. If that were to continue, you'd be about another 6 months, maybe 8 months, possibly a year before you see it cross that $300 threshold. I think that Vivid Voltage is just going to continue to just move up at a really slow pace. It's just not one of them sets. There's not a lot of chasing it. I mean, you get a Rainbow Chunkachu, and that is it for that. Let's just look up. So let me pull up Pokédata real quick, so that way I can look at all the card prices really, really smoothly here and see the high valued ones. So we're going to go back to Vivid Voltage one more time. What is in Vivid Voltage besides a Chunkachu that has value that someone's actually chasing right now? I know that there's a Nessa trainer card inside of it. Poke Center later, that's the other one. So basically the Rainbow Pikachu right now is $145. Your next card down in value in that particular set is the Pikachu V at $18, the Poke Center Lady at $14 or $15, the Rayquaza Amazing Rare at $11, and then the Nessa Full Art is at $11 as well. Then you got a smattering of rainbows at about $7 right now. So once again, it just comes down to whether or not you think that there's going to be a card in there that's going to pop up that's going to cause it to really gain value. I think it's going to just naturally, over the course with all Sword and Shield products, move up, but I just don't think it's going to accelerate. $300 might be a little ways out yet, but I think you'd see it within the next year for that. Let's see, because right now the population on the Rainbow Chunkachu right now is only $291 for the PSA 10, and there are 10,278 of them out there right now. So it doesn't seem like it's in the sales on the PSA 10 mix and match. There's a lot of 9s are sold, but not very many 10s, and 9 will be actually same price as the raw price at this point in time. So you get it slabbed and get a 9 and get it put into a slab at this point. Let me see, where are we at right now? Blitzkrieg says, what are we speculating today? Well, we're speculating a lot of Sword and Shield products at this point in time. Hamburger Ron, LOL. Blitzkrieg, damn, shots fired. Evolving Skies is king from Gengar. Blitzkrieg, it's what started off after Logan Paul hype. So it's a special type of set for a lot of people who lumped into the hobby. Yeah, I could see that being an argument, that the nostalgia is that's when people come in, or what you're really looking for is someone like my son who really wants that Rainbow Pikachu and really likes to open up to try and get it. He's trying to pull it himself rather than going through and trying to buy it. So that's where you're going to get that iconic feel to it. Is it strong enough? But a lot of people diversified in this hobby. The people that enjoyed the hobby stayed longer, and they ran into alternate arts, and Shining Fates is literally 2 months after the release of Vivid Voltage. So once again, we really have a conundrum on there that there was a lot of better sets right after Vivid Voltage, right after that, when all these people were still in there. So will we really see that at the end of the day? Hey, Roy brought donuts. Free coffee and donuts. Sounds good. Send me a box. I'll take them. I'm always good for some, send me the coffee. I've been laying off the donuts. Been on this trend. I've been continuing to lose weight, and my goal is to get back down to about 210. I was at 260, and I needed to get down. I'm down about 30 pounds right now, so we're just going to keep that trucking. So keep the donuts. I'll take the coffee. How about that? I'm good with that. Let's see. We're here. Hydus Evolving Skies is a modern era iconic set. Yeah, everybody knows. Evolving Skies is a set that everybody knows. You could say it to anybody, even today, and they know exactly what Evolving Skies is. Blitzkrieg, the first print stuff is exploding in price because of its high hit rate. First print stuff. Yeah. Gengar Dragonite V is dope. I absolutely love that card. I have a couple of those copies. I love that card. I think it's a really, really good card. I think it's really underrated still at this point in time, comparatively to a lot of alternate arts in that set. The only reason it's underrated comparatively to a lot of other sets is because of the fact that in general is that it's not a VMAX. If it was a VMAX, the value of it would be a lot better. Currently, where is that one? Dragonite. So we're at $255. We've seen some good gain on that one as well over the last year. So the last 6 months, yeah, I was gonna say, I remember when it was down quite a ways from there. Let me find it here. So raw was about 150. So now we're seeing some gain on that one now too. Even the reason being is I see the PSA 10 is really starting to shoot in price on that Dragonite V. So we were about $200 or $450 here back in May, and now we're already up to about $825. So the PSA 10 on that Dragonite V has definitely had some gains, and it seems to be dragging the raw value up with it as well, which is typically what we see when it comes down to the pricing of these singles. Let's see. Here we go. Hitus, or did I miss Hamburger? Hamburger Ron says, I truly believe Lost Origin Sealed Booster Box will pass Fusion Strike and stay number 2 in the SNS going forward, probably sooner rather than later. I think you're probably right, just because I think that the trainer gallery with the trainer gallery attached to Lost Origins, the Pikachu trainer gallery, I think that it will. I'm willing to bet I'm right with you. I think that's going to pass Fusion Strike here fairly shortly. Right now, Lost Origins is $600, as we talked about earlier. Let's go back and take a look at Fusion Strike at this point in time. So just get the numbers right. I just like going over the numbers every single live if we're going to talk about something, just so everything's congruent. We're at $815 currently for a booster box of Fusion Strike. But if you look at the gain on the Fusion Strike for the last month, what are we looking at? So we had a good jump here where it went to $900. So basically we're up to $800. But it hasn't really moved much since mid-May. So looks like May 25th it jumped, end of May, and it's been pretty consistent at that point in time. It's been about $790 since mid-May. So we're not seeing a lot of change in the Fusion Strike line, while the Lost Origins line is just continuing seeing pretty consistent growth right now when it comes down to that particular product. Let's see here. Haida says, yeah, our higher dollar-wise stuff, more profitable dollar-wise. Less work, and the consumer or customer base has the money and won't nickel and dime, especially at local shows. Yeah, I could see that, especially at local shows. I could see that being a really big advantage. Online, middle ground, high-end stuff is just like snapped up. Someone wants it, they just pay. Like I said, I've never had an offer on the higher end stuff. If it goes like over $350, I never get offers on that stuff anymore. It's literally just bought. Nobody questions it. Low views, quick buy. Lower end stuff, you get a lot of views with people putting offers in and trying to even lowball it further. And the middle ground stuff is kind of in between. You get some people on a barter, but it kind of sits there and floats, but moves pretty quickly. It usually a couple days and it's gone on most of the sales sites. Blitzkrieg says, Lost Origin, I got lucky, Black Friday, Target sale, got 2 ETBs for $19. That's awesome. My Target didn't even get any, they didn't put them out. Basically, the employees kept them in back and they never even hit the shelf. Arc Strike says, hey, how's it going? I'm a little late, but glad to catch you live. Awesome, Arc Strike. Well, thank you so much for coming in. This isn't our rip and ship tonight, but this is just our market talk right now. And if you go back and watch the beginning, we talk about what kind of investments right now that we should be looking at and what are actually doing really well currently. So we go over the numbers for a lot of the products over the last 6 months to just see how well things are moving currently. Blitzkrieg, that's all I got for that set. Blitzkrieg York. Blitzkrieg, I bought it at $30 in ETB for a case. That's not too bad. Anytime you can get Sword and Shield ones under $32, you're doing extremely well. Even Battle Styles, I got those at like $27 an ETB, and that was before I had a distributor. That was just, nobody wanted them. I mean, remember Mason had them things for like 2 years and could not sell a Battle Styles ETB. He had a whole back room full of them. I remember him talking about how he just could not get rid of them things. So to see them now, well, where are they at? We're going to talk about it. Let's go ahead and look at the numbers. Right? That's going to be my new trend, is that if I bring up a set and I sit there and wonder about it, we're going to look it up, because sometimes we miss things, and sometimes it's good to go back and visit what's going on with these things. And I'm not going to see it on TCG or Pokedata.io for some reason, but let's go Battle Styles Elite Trainer Box. What do we got? Talk to me, Goose. You gonna make me put in Rapid Strike, or you pain in the butt? All right, so it's gonna want me to put in Rapid Strike. So let's just go with the Rapid Strike one. Right now, $75. Considering they were about $40 at the beginning of the year, we've almost doubled in value. There was a couple of them here where they were sold for $0 apparently, so I don't know what that deal is. But I do know that they've been at $40 to $50 for a long period of time, and now they're just consistently moving up again. The last 6 months or the year, almost last year now, we've just seen consistent growth, not heavy growth, but just keeping moving. You know, just sounds like Dory. Just keep swimming, and the price goes up. As heavy as Battle Styles was pushed or printed back in 2021, still very, very slow. First train, or what do I call it? I keep wanting to say Illustrator Rare, but first alternate art set that came out. So overall, it has that nostalgia. It has the Sleepy T-Tar. Overall, it has, you know, the first alternate arts in the sets of the era, of the generation. And I think that it will have some of that nostalgia just because that people are going to need to go back for those alternate arts if they want to complete sets. So there is that advantage to this particular set. I just think it's going to continue to be one of them little slow gainers. Looks like the Rapid Strike and the Single Strike performing very similarly. The Rapid Strike is actually about $5 more, almost $80, but the graph looks almost identical on the growth rate currently on that particular on those particular ETBs. Yeah, Sleepy T-Tar is the only card holding in that set, exactly. And that's the only card that is going to hold that set, realistically. The Empoleon maybe might get a little bit more oomph to it, futuristically. But Sleepy T-Tar right now, about $192. Everything else is $72, $50, $33. The Mimikyu is a cool card, though, too. Mimikyu keeps getting popularity as well. And we can, if I bet you I open this one up, we're probably going to see a little bit of a movement on that as well, and we are. It's getting slow gains as well. $20 currently on that full art Mimikyu with the dummy doll ability. It was down at the beginning of the year around 10, so we've seen a doubling in the price on that in the last year as well. So it's only a full art. It's a little bit easier to pull, but overall Mimikyu is getting a little bit more popularity as time goes on. Mimikyu is definitely growing on people. I'm liking Mimikyu more and more. Mimikyu kind of moved into my top 5 here recently. But I'm kind of a dark Pokemon type of guy, so it fits right into my genre. Let's see here. I went through that one. We went through that one. We went through that one. Roy's got donuts, so we were good there. Arc Strike. Not sure if you talked about it already, but do you think all the prismatic coming over the next month or two will bring the pack price down to MSRP? I'm not really expecting the ETBs to fall. I don't think you're going to see the pack price drop that either. The problem is with prismatic evolutions. I mean, I kind of talked about it on the last live, so if you want to go back and look at it, as much as continues to come out, I think we will see a little bit of a price drop on it in general, just because there will be a lot of it hit in the market. Do I think it's going to be enough to drive it down to MSRP? Probably not, but Pokemon does seem to be on a company-wide mission to just absolutely decimate that particular set. I don't know why. I wish they'd print other things. I think there's a lot of other sets that need reprints and would be really, really good to see reprints of, but it is what it is, and we can't really fight with the wisdom of Pokemon in general. But I don't think we'll ever see that set go to MSRP, because all that's going to happen is more investors are going to buy that up as soon as it hits the ground. I know some people on my video today sit there and say that the moral of the story, like the last guy's comment, and I'll just pull it open because it's like I've been getting these comments, and no matter what you talk about on some of these things, people just get, I want to say, a little bit facetious on everything that's being said. So this guy says here, moral of the story, whether you're a bootleg store or someone who uses retail arbitrage as a flip project, both sell at market price and exploit the market. Pokemon is cutting the middleman distributor and bootleg store affiliation club and going straight to the market and products and opening the playing field. So I find that really, really funny that that's the conversation piece on that. And this is the thing is that the only reason that we're in this situation is because of the lack of a print, right? as a store or as a storefront, as my LGS, I mean, I could bring them on and have a conversation. Maybe I can do that at their LGS. The problem is that we have overhead costs. Every store has overhead costs, whether you're an LGS, an online store, whatever it is. When you get less product, you have to still mitigate that cost. You have to mitigate the cost of the store and allocate the funds to be able to handle that. So if you get less product and there is a demand in the market with you getting less product, it's not like you as the single store is being bullied by the distributor by not giving you product, right? Or you made a distributor mad and they're not giving you product anymore. It's a systemic problem being caused by Pokemon in general. And the fact that Pokemon, that instead of them, and this is where a lot of people even in the store side is getting frustrated, is that rather than Pokemon printing more product, getting it to distribution and getting it to the stores where we can start lowering our prices and become back to MSRP or potentially under, like a lot of us used to sell, we can't do that because they're circumventing us and going straight to the public through, Sam's Club and Costco and all these other sites, rather than giving the stores the opportunity. So if they were to print all this Prismatic Evolutions and instead of go to Costco, Sam's Club and that, you would actually get it more diffused through the system. And people are saying they're going directly to the people. Well, you're not, because the people that are buying this are business owners who are just taking it and flipping it again. But if you were to go straight to the distributor, print enough and give it to the LGSs, I hate to say it, our LGSs are very good at regulating flow. I know some people don't believe that, but my LGSs that I go to will all regulate flow to consistent customers. Scalpers have a really hard time coming into my local LGSs and buying product at MSRP over MSRP, right? What my LGSs does, and what a lot of people don't understand, is that if you are consistently going to an LGS, if I go to my LGSs, they'll list it literally at market price on their shelf. But if they know you and you're coming in, they will hit the discount button and drop it right back down to the normal MSRP price, or they'll adjust that price for you. Now, I know some people are mad because I can tell the people that are just going to LGSs right now and are not used to that system, but LGSs are protecting the normal customers that come to their stores more and more than you think. So if you're going to an LGS and you think that they are, granted, some are. I'm not going to say this is this is what we do for everybody type thing. This is what my LGSs do around here, is that if you're a consistent customer, they see you come in all the time, or if you're a regular customer where they know that you're involved and that you do things and that you purchase consistently through them, they will drop that price back to MSRP for you. They'll sell it to you for MSRP. In your normal quantities. If I were to come in and try and buy a whole case, they would go, no, we'll sell you 2 of them at MSRP. If you want more, you're going to pay the marked up price. They are protecting their customers. They're protecting their people that come in. And that is exactly what a lot of them are doing currently. People see that, though, as they go inside these stores, they see that price. They're not talking to the store clerks. They're just assuming that they're ripping people off, which tells me you're not going to that store very often, because my stores made it clear to all their normal customers, hey, we're going to be marketing again at market price, but just just so you know that if you come in, we'll sell it to you cheaper just because we know that you're here consistently. My one store actually has a passcode. You give them a passcode and they'll drop the price. I mean, but you have to play in tournaments. You have to be a consistent customer. And then you get a passcode and they give you that. Basically, they put that code into their system and it gets you all the products at MSRP. So the LGSs are actually trying very hard to keep things at consistent pricing and try to keep it at. Now, Surging Sparks, my LGS has it listed right now at $230, but they bought it at $190, the same price I did. So they are doing their standard markups on like Surging Sparks booster box. Just because they paid extra pricing for it, they charge extra pricing because they still have to get their markup out of there as well. So there is give and take in that as well. As we found out from Danny Phantom, as me talking to LG, my friend at the LG or distributor, they are marking up prices on secondary products. So it is something that's coming from distribution. LGSs once again have no control over that either. How's it going, Poke Newfo exclusive? We've entered in the I know what I got phase of the hobby. I doubt things will slow down and the diamond hands will eventually win in the long run. Absolutely. It's going to probably be no question on that. If you can keep things sealed, as an investment side of things, you're going to do extremely well. If you're going to be chasing for your collection and stuff, of course, go ahead and have fun. Open it up. Right. But if you're sitting there and you're in the investment stage and you're into that, I know what I got, just hold and sit, then definitely do that. It's a great time to do that. Blitzkrieg, yeah, definitely not MSRP. LOL, I buy it at 65, 70. Yeah, I would say if it gets down to under 80, I'd be impressed, but I would think that it's probably going to drop down into the 90s, probably after these next couple runs go through at least. We'll probably see it down around that $90 range. Wouldn't surprise me for Prismatic, but you got to remember, there's a lot of investor bros right now that are just sucking that up the second it hits the ground because they don't want that price to fall that far. So they're definitely going to start chewing that up, and you're going to have to get on it, get that early access, business access to your Sam's Club and Costco's. Are definitely going to give you that advantage. If you have a business and you want to get in there and fight with that early on, then make sure you get those business accounts. Hey, Antonio, how you doing this evening? So yeah, get that business account through your Sam's Club so you can get that early access, because if you don't get early access, at least at ours, you're not getting it. You're not getting it. I guarantee it. It's going to be gone because the local business owners are going to clean up that Prismatic before the doors even open to the general public. Arc Strike says it feels like they think that Prismatic is the linchpin for the market and that they're in. So they're trying to bring it down in hopes that other sets will follow. I don't know, but they have been hyper-focused on it. They have been. I wish they'd get off of it and go and print as much in some of the other sets, because if they were to start downing the sets around Prismatic and start bringing down the pricing of the other sets and make the availability there for LGSs and for like online stores and stuff like that, it would start to deflate the market a little bit. Even if Prismatic stays high, it would start to deflate the rest of the market if they could get more product. More print run out for more sets would be definitely a key factor, rather than them on the, like you said, this linchpin theory that they're just going to sit there and print the stuff to death and get it out. I don't get it. It just doesn't make sense. Blitzkrieg, I refuse to sell any of my Sword and Shield. I wouldn't sell any Sword and Shield at this point in time. I'd actually be buying more at this point in time, in my opinion. Hamburger Rod, it's a free market and Pokemon is unregulated. As long as people are willing to pay asking price, the market will determine the price. Exactly. You know, and like I said, LGSs and stuff will do their damnedest to try and mitigate that. And some people see that as their price gouging, and some people are, and some LGSs are, but the two that are by me, I know do not. They are literally MSRP if you've been in their store. So one of them has a code, basically a coupon code. You put the coupon code in, you're going to get so much of everything at MSRP. I think they've got it locked at like 2 in their system. So if I go buy 2 ETBs, I'm going to get it at MSRP. If I go buy 2 6-pack blisters, I'm going to get MSRP. If I buy 2 of this, I'm going to get it at MSRP. But in general, that's just what we're looking at when it comes down to it, is that LGSs are good at mitigating the market. And if they know you, even a good example of it is that I didn't get these, but even this Prismatic Evolutions, I went to my LGS and told them, hey, you know, what's the pricing on that Prismatic? And they looked at me and they said, oh, you're here all the time. I'll just sell it to you for the 120. Not a problem. They'll sell you one of them. I'll sell you one at 120. So they sold me one at 120. I was looking for it for my collection. My other ones fell through because of the market. My LGS provided it for 120 because I'm there consistently. And once again, as a customer, they're willing to do that. That's not saying that all LGSs are like, some are just greedy, right? They're taking advantage of a greedy market. But on the flip side of it, I'm going to tell you this right now, and this is what really ticks off my LGS, and they point it out every single time to some people, is that if the market is low, you will come in, and if this tin right here, so if this product here was on the market for $20, and MSRP was $27.99 on this when it first came out, you would be bitching to the LGS that, hey, you're price gouging me because you're at MSRP. It's cheaper on TCG Player at $20. You should sell that to me for $20. But now that they're playing the market game and saying, well, now it's $40 because the market says it's $40. Well, I want it at MSRP. What are you doing? You can't sell above MSRP. You know, the people are just as bad as you want to call the LGS owners. Because they won't go in there and pay MSRP. They'll sit there and say that I need it at $20 because, well, it's cheaper than MSRP right now. Why would I pay more? You know, so It's a give and take market, guys. Got to remember that. If you're going to sit there and complain when it's one way, don't be surprised when it bites you in the butt later. And that's exactly what some people are getting right now. And it's infuriating and frustrating to them right now. Let's see here. Arc Strike, also with GameStop selling Twilight Masquerade and Surging Sparks ETBs at actual MSRP $49.99. Do you think they got a deal to get products straight from Pokemon? It seems weird since all the other ETBs have been at 60. So MSRP for those is actually $54.99. So $55 is MSRP for Scarlet and Violet ETBs. Specialty sets are $59.99 or $60 for specialty sets. So there's another pack in it. So it's $1 or $5 more. Just so for context is that them selling them at $49.99 or $49.99. They're under MSRP technically at that point. I think that they got them. I know that they get their products through MJ Holding or Excel. Sorry, Excel. So Excel gave them a deal. They got a deal and they moved it through it. So did they get a deal? I don't think they got a deal. I think that they just are listing them at that price just because that's what their computer system was at that point, and that's why they went with it. That's where I think it is that they just kind of went through with what it was. But no, they didn't get any special pricing. All their stuff goes through Excel. So thank you so much for the subscription. I can't read it. It's too small on my screen. I made my screen different and I can't see it. I'm sorry. But thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. Greatly appreciated. Let me see. Funk Havoc, thank you so much for dropping in. Greatly appreciated to have you in here. Let's see. Got 5 minutes, so Funk Havoc, if you want to put something in chat, it takes about 5 minutes for you to get cleared, just so you know. Let's see. Have been 60. Hamburger Rod. Simply don't buy it if you don't like the price, and buy it if you do. Pretty simple. It is. It really is. I mean, if you don't like the pricing of something, walk away or ask. Simple as that, right? A lot of times just asking. Ask your LGS owners, guys. If you're going into an LGS, and I'm not saying if it's your first time in there, try and get a deal on a product, right? They're going to look at you like you're insane. But if it's your local LGS and they're selling at market pricing, ask them, guys. A lot of people are just price gating because they're trying to keep it available for their consistent customers. They want to give their normal customers the best opportunity to get product right now in this market. So a lot of times, a lot of people at this point in time have been doing like pre-orders. So for example, our LGS has been doing pre-orders for people on all their product, and they charge you MSRP on the pre-orders. You get in there, you tell them what you're looking for, they'll do a pre-order for you, they'll get as close as they can, they evenly distribute it out to everybody, and they charge you MSRP for all the products. So there's an opportunity for someone to go in, pre-order, and get the product. So they'll order like 1 or 2 ETBs. Don't get greedy. Don't be stupid and try and get a case, because the second you say, can I get a case of ETBs at MSRP, they're going to tell you no immediately. Just be considerate about it. You know, a lot of LGSs are still people, they're business owners, and they want to make a satisfied customer at the end of the day. Yes, they're going to gatekeep and they're going to protect their customers that they have consistently coming in. Keep that in mind. But if you are consistently going to an LGS, they understand you, they know you, you've been there before, you're constantly involved, then you're going to be able to probably get a good deal, or they'll be willing to work with you on the pricing on that. They're not complete jerks most of them aren't. Once again, I'm not going to say all, there's always exceptions, but a lot of LGSs are trying to protect stuff for their consistent customers. They don't want everybody that lines up down the street to come in and get it. You know, they want to slow people down from getting it at MSRP. Let's see. Arc Strike says, my LGS just got some Surging Sparks and Twilight Masquerade booster boxes in today, and they're selling them about $30 below market. So, there are definitely good ones out there. Yeah, and that's like I said, you know, Surging Sparks, we got Surging Sparks in here, $190 was my cost on it. Right now, I would probably sell them about $120 or $225 at this point in time is where I was going to sell them at, which is right now about $20 to $30 under market. So basically, I'd be doing the exact same thing, just because I need to get some markup out of them, of course, because I got to cover costs and my what it costs to run my business, but I'm also not going to price gouge to the point where I'm running at market on those. So I am going to be listing. I keep saying I'm going to do that, but I'm going to list them up today. I've got about 4 of them that I'm going to be selling. We got the one for the giveaway. So we do still have some of them high tier packs. We're trying to get rid of those, and then we'll be moving on and going to something different on that. But once we do that, we got one Surging Sparks booster box giveaway, and I'm going to list the other ones up and start moving them out as well. So let's see here. Blitzkrieg said, hey to Antonio. Hopefully you're having a fantastic weekend, or fantastic week. Blitzkrieg, Pokemon is focusing on big retail and LGSs, I hope. They seem to be really focusing on big retail and not on LGSs all that much. It just seems like they're not putting any product down that pipeline. We get some, we get a little bit here and there, but realistically, like Paladin of Fates, I just got some of the 6-pack bundles come through, some 151 kind of, I mean, things kind of trickle through. A lot of 151 keeps trickling back in, like the Zapdos boxes that you can see, you know, right here. I keep getting like 2, they'll keep sending me a couple boxes of those, little 6-pack boxes of those every now and then. But realistically, a lot of the stuff is just trickling in very, very slow, random things here and there. Not really even consistently the same thing, like black and white, non-existent. But we're getting Surging Sparks, we're getting 151 products, we're getting Paladin Fates products, the tins and the, you know, things like that, but it's very, very inconsistent, and it's not like I get an order. Realistically, I get an email saying new products available, and I got to jump on it right away to see what I can get, if I get anything. Some weeks I get nothing. There's just nothing. That's all sold out before I get to it. So it just depends on the week and how much they have. Let's see here. OG Weedle Farm, thank you so much for joining in. I randomly got unlucky with a Target stock earlier today, obtained 2 Victini boxes. Awesome. Very, very nice. Nice grab on the Victini boxes. Really, really cool. I like them boxes. That's a really cool alternate or illustrator rare in there. Really, really cool box in general. I do really enjoy that one. I think it was really well done. Arc Strike. Okay, I see. I wasn't aware of that. Thanks for the info. No problem, Arc Strike. Antonio, I know Rudy had his opinion on why distribution is not getting much Pokemon and why big retail stores getting most of the product. I know. I watched Rudy's video, and I don't think he's probably too far off. I think that Pokemon is doing some really weird things right now to try and open up new, or try and get it to people. The problem is that they're not going to the right stores still at this point in time. Going to Sam's Club and Costco, they both have businesses. Both have business access. So to me, it makes no sense why they're going to those two for this. If they were to just go and dump in the Walmart, Target, like freaking fill the shelves, like load it down in all the big box stores, that's fine. But even, you know, PokeNE had a really, really good point. When you look at even the new release on prismatic ETBs coming out, you know, people are making a big deal about 100,000 ETBs coming out here at Costco. But if you really break that down and you really look at that, it's 3,000 per state. And if you exclude Alaska, it's like 30 or 3,022 per state. Do you think that there's 3,022 people out there right now that would buy them beasts at MSRP or less than MSRP? Do you think that there's 3,200 or 3,022 people that would pay 100 for those right now? The answer is probably yes. It's not that big of a number. It seems like a huge number. I know a lot of people are like, oh my God, it's so many. But realistically, it's not a big number. It's not a huge number. It's realistically, when you break it down state for population, when you think about it, that there's probably actively in the Pokemon hobby right now, and this is a complete guess, there is no statistic probably behind this, but if you look at how many people are probably active in the Pokemon hobby at this given point in time in the United States alone, you're probably somewhere, and if I had to throw a number at it, probably around 10 to 15 million minimum. High number, I'd say there's 30 to 35 million people potentially active in this hobby, buying cards, products, playing the game, and doing things. Do you think that 100,000 ETBs, even at the low number of 10 million people, is a drop in the bucket? Realistically, no. It's really not a big number. You're going to need to see 1 million ETBs, in my opinion, in order to see a really big... If you want to... Here's my kind of side analysis. And I'm no marketing genius. I'm no high-ranking smart person for marketing. But if you truly wanted to beat the dead horse and kill prismatic evolutions to the point where you try and be the linchpin in the market and like use that as your pin to jam through the bubble and blow the thing, you're going to have to print at least 1 million to 2 million ETBs. That is my ultimate number is that I think you got to be at least 1, if not 2 million ETBs. If you were to jam that down the market right now and make it available at Walmart, at Target, at Costco, at Sam's Club, in every distributor and every LGS were to get that product all at once, you would literally punch through that bubble right there on the ETB side of it, and you would deflate the singles price, you would deflate the pack price, and you would deflate the ETB price all at once. You'd see that whole thing like suck in. And that is probably the only way that I can think of doing it at this point in time, even potentially see a large enough dent in this market to really cause that vacuum to happen. Like we talked about earlier, if they want to turn prismatic into a linchpin, they're going to have to really send the bullet through it. Because them sitting here, flicking rocks at the bubble, hoping that it'll pop eventually, isn't working. They're just going to have to slam it and slam it hard. That's the only way you're going to do it. They're not doing it right if that's what their plan is. And they're going to places that have early access to business owners. So all that's happening is that LGS owners are going there and buying them all up and taking them back to their store, and they're putting them on their store for $85, $90 a piece, because why not? Why wouldn't they do that if they can't get product through their distributor? Go to Costco, buy it out, and then go put it at your store. You're going to make, your 20, 30% on it, and you're done. It doesn't make sense where they're going, and it's not going to change the market by going straight to Costco. Maybe it's an experiment. Maybe they're seeing if it does work. I don't know what they're doing. It's just, in theory, if all the Sam's Club were to control 1 to 2 per customer, and there was controls in line and all these things, but I know there's guys at Costco and at Sam's Club that just roll the whole pallet into their buddy's truck and it's gone. So yeah, it just doesn't work. It's not physically working at this point in time. It's time to reshift and go somewhere else. My most local LGS is the Brady shop that sells at scalper pricing. Have you talked to them? 125 black, bold, and white flare ETBs. Yes. Yeah, I would sit there and talk, maybe ask them to, because some people, like I said, maybe they are just that way. Some are, like I said, some LGSs are just jerks. They're a-holes. They are what they are. I mean, there's one in Eau Claire that I can tell you right now, or it's Claremont Comic or TCG and Comic. They're assholes. They sell everything, even everything's above MSRP, never goes below MSRP. It's always above no matter what. And on top of it, when you're sitting there and you go in, like now, they're at market or futuristic market pricing. They're trying ETB of prismatic right now. They have prismatic, and they probably got about 50 of them on the shelf right now for $150 a piece. So if you want to go get prismatic, go ahead. They're $150 a piece right now on the shelf. They will not move. They would rather sit on that product till they die than drop that price. They're waiting for the market to catch it. Some LGSs are like that. I'm not saying all are honest or good. Some are trying to protect their customers. Some are just money hungry a-holes, and it is what it is. You're just going to have to work with them and see what they are and how they are. It's just, that's just the way the game works. Arc Strike, I think Costco has been enforcing limits right. I know Sam's didn't with the last ETB bundle, but the next prismatic collection is a limit of 2 per count. That does not always work, because I know. So the one in Eau Claire, the guy rolled the whole pallet into his buddy's truck. Yeah, I doubt that we'll even see these ones either. To be 100% honest, the early rule came out. People got there early on their business accounts, and they were already gone. And the one guy actually saw him load him into the truck that morning in the back loading bay. They never hit the floor. And that's something that you're going to be fighting. Some will get out. Some will be 2 per person. Some will follow the rules. Some managers will just sell them all to one person, and there's nothing that they can do about it. Antonio says, I seen one person buy out the whole pallet of prismatic ETBs last time it came out. Yeah, and I saw the exact same thing. That's exactly what happened at ours here in Eau Claire. Gone in one person. It never even hit the floor. It literally went out the loading bay, and it was never seen. Arc Strike, yeah, if you have an inside connection, it definitely defeats the purpose of the limits. Yeah, it does. It works if some follow the rules, but the ones that don't, it just doesn't make any difference. And that's going to be the spotting throughout the whole country on that. Will they follow the rules? Will they not? You know, who's going to sit there and fight them too? That's the question is that, like I've asked the guy at Walmart, so do you have a lock that your receipt will only let you buy 2 of these products at a time when you have a limit? Well, no, you could buy more, even Target. There's nothing on the computer that stops you from buying more than 2 products, right? There's a clerk that'll come up and say, please don't do that. But even the one guy said at Costco with the limit, if someone were to come in and take the whole cart, you're going to have to put a manager or an employee in front of this guy and potentially have a fight with this customer to not do that. And that's really going to be whether or not they're willing to do that. Antonio, could be the LGS got the ETBs at a higher price from secondary market and couldn't afford to sell below 150, but we'll never know unless you talk to your LGS owner. I actually do know that they got them straight from Southern Hobby. I saw their shipment come in. I know where they get it from. Their shipment comes straight from Southern Hobby. And they literally have their original shipment of them that they got still sitting there. And it is what it is. They just won't sell. They've never been able to sell those. So no, their boxes all say Southern Hobby, and they're all, I've seen the packing on them. So if you ever get from Southern Hobby and you buy, I don't know if I've got it on my box or not, because that one came in another box. So if you get them from Southern Hobby, they usually have the USPS tag. If, like for me, like the Surging Sparks, I don't have the Surging Sparks box in here, but they usually have the USPS tag. They'll just send them right in their own box and ship them to you. Or sometimes they come crated and then they wrap them and then they'll be on the crate. But no, they get straight from Southern Hobby. I guarantee those came straight from Southern Hobby. They don't buy from secondary market. They maximize it every single time. Arc Strike, I've also been wondering what's been different this time around the big box stores like Walmart and Target. Didn't they stop carrying products in the stores altogether during the last craze? Some did, some didn't. Mine never stopped carrying product. They just put it behind the drug count, or the by cigarettes by us. So basically they controlled it by 2 per person or 10 per person, or 10 per. So if we have like kids, they would do like 10 or like 2 per person in line. So each one of my kids could get 2 things. They did that for a while, but they controlled it through that means for around here. Now they just don't seem to care. It is what it is. I know Target's been trying to put a limit on it, but Walmart has absolutely said we're not dealing with it. And they've just pretty much gone, just as long as there's no fist fight in the store, they don't do anything about it. And they've made it clear to any of the I know the managers have had cops there and removed some of the people that are problems and banned people from the stores. So if they see them come in, they call the cops right away on them. That's been the bigger difference at like our Walmarts and stuff, is that they are implementing law enforcement into stopping some of these things from happening, but they haven't put the limits on them. They haven't put them behind anything. It is what it is. If you get there first come, first serve. That's been their kind of idea on that. I've seen Costco put Blooming Waters in carts, and that's all you're allowed to buy. It was kind of funny to see. Yeah, that would be one way to do it. Here's your cart. That's all you get. Leave. So there are ways. I mean, it just depends on how much work they want to put into it. That's all it comes down to. So, all right, guys, we are way into overtime. So thank you so much. We're almost 20 minutes over. By the time we get out of here, it will be. Once again, thank you everybody that's joined in. Hopefully this was knowledgeable, especially the beginning, the discussion afterwards. Once again, I'm going to keep it on the subscriber only chats from now on. I'd rather make sure that the subscribers get some preference to the discussions and what's happening in here. And like I said, right now it's got a 5-minute cool off. So if you do put join the membership or subscribe, then you have a 5-minute cool off, but nothing crazy on that. Yeah, and Tony, you have a good night. Thank you, Arc Strike, for joining. We will be live on Friday, 9 p.m. as well for our normal rip and ships there on Friday. I'll see what I get. potentially supposed to be getting some more 151 and possibly more Paldean Fates this week, so I will find it's shipped. I'll find out what I get in the boxes when they usually get here on Thursday, so we'll find out what we get. Hopefully something good. PokeTCG Ash, did you know that inside your Paldean Fates booster bundle is the smaller one still sealed? They put them in the large boxes to prevent theft. What? So you're telling me... No, that is not. I can feel inside of there. So you're telling me if I were to open this big beast up, that, well, they did these for Crown Zenith. This is the exact same one. You just want me to cut this open. There ain't no way. It's not wide enough. There's no way. No. Ooh, it's the same width. Huh. It could fit. Now now you're gonna make me not sleep at night. Thanks, PokeTCG Ash. Greatly appreciated for that. Oh, you. If it is, I'm gonna. Science. We're doing it. All right, now you got me going. I promise, this is for science, right? It's always okay if we do it for science, right? All right, here we go. We're going to see. Did he just trick me into opening one of these boxes? We'll find out right here, right now. So here we go. We're opening it. We're not taking it off the screen. So here we go. Inside is this. Ha! They did! That's freaking hilarious. So they did. They literally put the big one out there with a small box in it. I'm done. You guys have a good night. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, PokeTCG Ash. That was awesome. Hopefully you guys have a fantastic night. We will see you on Friday, 9 p.m. Central Time. At least you know.